So this is our storm computer. This was built out of a bunch of random parts and half broken stuff, specifically for the purpose to be able to use during a thunderstorm to relieve anxiety. So this was right now it's built into my actual first computer case. This is like a 2003 compact pre-stereo SR case, but the components that are in here are not what was in this case. The motherboard that's in here is actually a half-dead, there's something severely wrong with it, like Hewlett-Packard Pavilion motherboard of some sort. It was a Violet series. It's a miracle that this one still works. There's like all sorts of stuff up with it. It's got only 3 gigs of DDR2 RAM in it, and it's all mixed brands. There's nothing matching about it at all. It's all mixed everything. It's got a quad-core Phenom, which is probably the first processor that I actually bought because I had a like dual core before I got to that one. The heatsink is probably the most valuable thing in here, which is a Hyper 212 Evo Cooler Master Cooler. But the fan that's on it is actually a Mac fan that's been rewired to hook up to this PC, and then I have it hooked in. This power supply is a random, no name, probably came out of like a Dell or Hewlett Packard or something power supply. Fan on the back, it's literally an adapter with a 120 fan on here that barely spins. The graphics card that's in here is a R7 250, and the hard drive that's in here is a random laptop hard drive just haphazardly thrown into the front of this computer case. So what we usually do with this is we usually hook it up to a cheaper rigged up TV that we have or whatever monitor that we have around and run it. So it helps with my wife's anxiety during thunderstorms, and it keeps us entertained while there's thunderstorms coming through. Yeah, this thing has surprised me. The system that we're using on it is Linux Mint Debian Edition, which still right now supports 32-bit hardware. You can actually get a new ISO of it. It's basically Debian 12 with Linux Mint's Cinnamon user interface on it. Yeah, it works great. And this thing still, with the specs it has, even with only 3 gigs of RAM, plays Half-Life, Half-Life Source, Half-Life 2, all the classic Valve games, the Left 4 Dead series, all that runs on this, as well as some other things. It's got some tricks to it. So this motherboard that's in here has a thing where you have to basically, when you start it, you have to turn it on real quick, and then you have to spam escape to get past the HP BIOS, and then you have to spam F2 to get past the fan failure. Something's up with the motherboard where even if you have stuff hooked in, the circuitry that goes to the detection on the fan ports is fucked. So basically, you try and use fans on it, the fans will be spinning. It'll sound like an airplane, but it sees it as a fan failure. So you just skip it and it goes past it. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I can switch it on. And it's on right now. If it comes on, it'll go to the HP screen, and then it'll go here. It'll be like, CPU fan has failed shutting down, and it cuts off. If we cut it on, we can hit escape at post here, and it'll get past that. Then it'll get here, you have to spam F2 to continue. It'll skip it. It'll go through and detect the hard drive. And then there it is. There's the hard drive. So then you just go on it, and then it'll pop up Linux. and then it'll boot like normal. So, and because of it being older and it running the Cinnamon desktop environment, it actually takes a little bit to start. It's not too terribly long if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to use it to watch videos or whatever, but it can be a bit. Okay, cool. So it started now. So it should be able to, yeah, it's nice and usable. So what I can do to kind of show it off a little bit, I can remote connect to it and then show you around it, and then I'll have to launch games and stuff through here so that you can see it on the monitor. So I actually have this ability to remote desktop connection directly to it. I have to log out first. There we go. Here we go. So here I've got some things laid out that I did tests on. We always keep videos on here for when storms run through, a bunch of Markiplier and stuff like that. Comfort videos. You still technically can use this like a normal computer. Like you could use this to connect online or maybe even force it to use Discord or something because it is a modern system. So this is what we're running here for the system. Linux Mint Debian Edition 6 Fay. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. This is a really good system, and I have Lutris on this to run different things as well as Wine. So I have Half-Life, Half-Life 2, and Left 4 Dead here ready to go, which I think if I try and run them with the desktop connection, it's not going to let me because I think it needs to do it on its own hardware. So that's what we'll do. We'll switch back to the monitor, and I'll show it running. It's interesting the way I have this positioned with the camera. Left and right is actually correct when looking at it through the camera. That was pretty handy. But yeah, I should be able to run this. And there you go. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's Half-Life. You can run it without, hardware acceleration or anything like that. But this one, actually running it in OpenGL mode, not in software mode. And I can turn widescreen on. So it's actually widescreen. But yeah, I can just jump in. Jump in somewhere and playing Half-Life. There you go. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. How well it runs on only 2.5 gigs or whatever with an R7 250. It's pretty crazy. My mouse is not very great, but yeah, it works. So Alt F4 out of that. Half-Life 2. So I'm gonna make a guide on how to make Linux Mint Debian Edition run games like this. Like there's a bunch of stuff I had to do to get it to work on this, and it actually wasn't that hard. It was just like a procedure. And I feel like any older 32-bit system can really benefit from this. Like it's kind of a recycler's dream here. So the only part of this I've found any lagging on was Highway 17, but I think that's because of my hard drive. And also I'm running the system on the same hard drive as the game. And it's because of the driving around and all the stuff it loading in every so often causes the frames to dip. I could adjust it out if I wanted to. I could dip down the settings. But, oh shit, I'm already going. Oof. But like it's pretty insane that this is just working. Like this is a very valid system for if it was like, if this was just a pile of junk, like you could pick this up out of trash cans or like off side of the road or whatever and throw together a very competent system that can play classics. Like it's really good for just like, oh yeah, I have this like random 32-bit system that came out of an office and just added some extra stuff to it or whatever. And the motherboard on this has problems and it just doesn't care. The fact that it just works. So there's Left 4 Dead 2, or not Left 4 Dead 2, Half-Life 2. Oh, does it actually not Alt-Tab? I have to click quit. Go. There's that. We're going to do Left 4 Dead 2 this time. Or Left 4 Dead 1, rather. I haven't done 2 on this yet. Oh yeah, and this line is part of the monitor. The monitor's damaged and has that line there. Oh, and if the display is off on this, I haven't adjusted for this monitor. I have it adjusted for the other one that we use, and that's why it looks kind of off right now. There we go. Oof, this mouse is awful for this. Also playing this with latency through the webcam is probably not great too, but yeah, it's pretty incredible that this is even working. Which of course with the power that this has, I'm pretty sure you could emulate like PlayStation and stuff like this too. I've tried some different indie games. I actually should see what kind of indie games will run on it because most things are 64-bit now and won't run, but stuff like these older Valve games and stuff like that are 32-bit. Also, I'm noticing a couple of these Valve games don't like to Alt F4 and you have to actually manually quit. But yeah, this is a classic example of being able to take equipment that would normally be thrown away or, otherwise be seen obsolete or whatever and reusing it for something. It can still go online. It can still, anything that you do with an office computer, you can still do with it. It can still play games. It can still do a lot of things. But yeah, this is our little storm computer, which eventually this will probably go into a case that's complete, or it'll get put in this case properly. The heatsink is the reason why the panel is not on the side of this, is because it's too big. But I plan to make a guide on how to set up a computer like this to do what this can do right now. It is absolutely incredible what you can do with only, 2.5, 3 gigs of RAM that I never thought would have been possible. So I hope this was entertaining. If you'd like to see any streams of me playing with or building anything crazy like this, just shoot me a comment and I'll do a Twitch stream on it and make another Frankenstein like this. And I'd like to thank Abigail Nonk, Finno the Fox, Cinder, Fennel Rose Spice, Yuki Doodle, and Seven Essence. With your help and encouragement, it enables me to be able to make videos like this one, whether weird or teaching or just for fun. And I appreciate that a lot. And thank you. And I'll see you in the next one.